Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. So today is Monday, May 20th, I think, and I am 7% into a book, which is not much at all, is 2 chapters actually, and that book is Seven Faithless Saints, and it's the first book in a fantasy series, and yeah, I haven't really read enough to even know what's happening. Like, I know that someone died or was killed, and people need to figure out why, but that is literally all I know so far. And I also want to read the first book in the mystery thriller series that I read, the prequel novella 2 weeks ago. I definitely want to get into that, and don't really know what else. I might read another book for a video if I have time, but we will see. And yeah, so it is Monday, and I think I said last week that I took Monday and Tuesday off because I'm going to get a vaccine tomorrow because it had to be here in my hometown, aka not where I work. So it made no sense to just go there and come back and go there. So I just took these 2 days off. So yeah, not working today or tomorrow. And, I was excited to finally, sleep, get some rest, because last week and last weekend were both chaotic, tiring. I was so exhausted, but I woke up at 8 something with terrible period cramps. So I guess my body had other plans and it just really hates me. So here I am, Monday in the afternoon, still really exhausted. But yeah, I am going to... the first thing I'm going to read is Seven Faithless Saints. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to read the whole thing before I start another book, but it's the one I'm going to get into first during this week. And yeah, I think that's it, and welcome to the vlog. Hello, it is Thursday, and I have read one book, which was a book that I had started, I think I had started, pretty sure. So I finished that, and that book was Seven Faithless Saints, and in the world of that book there were, you guessed it, 7 saints, which were strength, patience, cunning, grace, mercy, death, and chaos. I wrote that down because there was no way in hell I would remember that. So there were 7 saints, and those saints, they had disciples who were humans who had sort of the powers that those saints had. And very rarely there were some humans that were born with almost I don't know if it was almost or if it was exactly as much power as the saints had. So they were reincarnations of those saints. And many years ago, there was a war between the reincarnation of Chaos and another one. I don't remember which one, but basically at the end of that war, all of the disciples of Chaos were killed because they thought that it was too dangerous to have another reincarnation of Chaos. And all the followers of Chaos were their city was basically closed off from anyone else. And now, 20 years before the start of the book, they started another war because they don't want to be closed off from everyone anymore. And the book actually starts with the disciple of death dying. He was poisoned, we quickly learn. And we're following Damien, who is kind of the head of security of the Palazzo, which is the place where the disciples spend their time. And so he is tasked with finding out who killed that guy and why. And there were also 2 people before that had been killed in the same way, but they were not disciples, they were just common people, and so no one really cared about their deaths. When I say no one, I mean the people high in society. But we also start following Rose, who is the disciple of Patience, and she's a disciple, but she's also part of a rebel group that is against the disciples because she doesn't like that the, common people are just, struggling to survive while the disciples are treated as royalty. And she is investigating the deaths of those other people that were killed. And then she finds out that Damien is also investigating those people's deaths, and they actually like used to be friends or more than friends in the past, but then things happened between them and their families, and they were not friends anymore, but now they are like working together to figure out those murders. And I did really enjoy it. I was really like invested in the investigation. I was really interested in what was happening, and although the reveal wasn't like the most shocking plot twisty thing, I still really liked what it was. And I also really like the characters and I like their interactions, although I feel like it focused a little too much on them, like a little more than I wanted. Like I wanted more of the plot about the murders and everything revolving around that, but I still enjoyed it. And I did think that the ending was a little underwhelming, but overall I did have a really good time with the book. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna rate it yet, but I did overall enjoy it. And now I am going to start the Crucifix Killer next. I mean, I would like to still start it tonight, but also it's kind of late and I still have a bunch of things to do, so I don't know if that is gonna actually happen, but this is definitely gonna be the next book that I'm going to start. And I got 3 books today. They arrived at my house. I had bought them like a while ago, but they like took forever to get here. I mean, it was at the beginning of the month, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I got them. And so they are like 3 books of the same series, or the same trilogy, but a trilogy that is part of a bigger series. The trilogy is I don't know if it's Tawny or Towny. Tawny Man trilogy, that's what I'm gonna go with. So we have Fool's Errand, which is book 1. We have The Golden Fool, which is book 2. And then we have a very thick book, like much thicker than the other 2. Yeah, Fool's Fate, which is obviously book 3. And this is the 3rd trilogy in like the big overall series. And I have read the 2 previous trilogies already. And yeah, I'm very excited to get into these eventually. I don't think it's gonna be very soon, but I'm very excited to get into them nonetheless. Yeah, that's everything related to books. And in terms of work, I guess, I only worked for 2 days because I was home at my parents' house Monday and Tuesday, so I just worked yesterday and today. And yesterday, like, I thought I was gonna leave work, you know, at the normal time that I do, but then my boss wanted me to go, like, hear a talk, so I went, and it ended an hour, almost an hour after it was supposed to. So there was that. I mean, it was pretty interesting, but I was not expecting to be there until like that late. But yeah, that happened. And today, in the afternoon, it was the PhD defense of one of my colleagues, so I went to that. And yeah, then I came home and got my books and finished reading 7 Faceless Saints. And yeah, now we're here. And I think that is everything that happened. And so tomorrow I'm obviously gonna go to work, and then in the late afternoon I'm gonna go back to my parents' house, and I will probably talk to you, I would say, on Saturday, and I hope I will have, you know, made some progress in this book. And I still want to start a book that I need to read for a video in this week, like in this vlog, and that is The Exorcist House. I do want to start that during the weekend, so fingers crossed I will be able to. But I think that is everything for now, and I will talk to you over the weekend. Hello, it is Saturday night. I'm talking kind of, not loud because my parents have gone to sleep, so I'm trying to be kind of quiet. And I read this book. I think I read like 70-ish pages on Thursday night, which was when I talked to you. And then yesterday I didn't read at all because I just like came home and I was really feeling really tired. I'll explain in a second. I mean, you can probably hear my voice, how great it sounds. So I didn't read at all. And then today I read the remaining 300 and something pages that I had of this book in like basically one sitting. So that was great. And so yesterday at work, me and a colleague, we were like going through papers that were 12 years old. And like I knew my allergies were not going to be okay with that. Like I knew it in my soul. But like it had to be done, And like he was the one actually going through the papers. I was just on my laptop, like writing down the information. So I wasn't like the papers are not like in my face, they were in his face. And he doesn't have allergies, but even he was like sneezing from like, the dust. Because it's 12-year-old dust. Or like dust that has been accumulating for 12 years. Some dust is probably not 12 years old. You know what I mean. So yeah, that was happening. And so like I was feeling the dust like, getting into my body, but my body had not yet reacted to it. And it started to react because that was in the morning that we did that. Yeah, like before lunch. And my body really started to react to it at like 5-ish or like 6-ish. I don't know, whenever I got home from work. And I was like, okay, I feel it coming. I feel like my allergy attack coming. But I had to just pack to get on the train to come here. So I just, kept on moving. And then when I did get home, I was already feeling like a lot worse. I was already sneezing a lot. I was already like blowing my nose every 10 minutes. I used so many tissues. I had like a tissue box like on my bed to sleep. And this morning when I woke up, I was feeling so much worse. Like I was sneezing and like blowing my nose every 2 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. It was bad. And then I actually had to like get out of the house. Like I had an appointment at 11 and I was there and I was again sneezing every 2 minutes. And I was like, okay, I need to go to the pharmacy because I left my meds for when my allergies are really bad, like at my place in Porto. So yeah, I was thinking that, I can get through without them. I thought like last night after I got here, I was like, I'll be fine. I was not fine. So I went to the pharmacy, I got my meds, and I took one because I'm supposed to take one every day for at least 3 days, which is supposedly the time that it takes for the allergies to go away. Like not the allergies. I mean, I wish my allergies would go away, but like, this. Also, sorry if that sounded disgusting. It probably did. Yeah, so I took a pill and it definitely helped a lot. Like my nose is very stuffed. I am still like blowing my nose pretty frequently. I'm not sneezing anymore. And I also don't feel like I'm dying anymore. So, overall, like I feel much better. Because, I mean, the worst part of the allergies is not even that I'm like sneezing or like blowing my nose. Like, yes, that is annoying, but that's fine. The bad part is that I just feel overall like so bad. And I don't feel that way anymore. It's just the congestion now, which again, it's annoying, but it's fine. I can deal with that. And yeah, today I was, like I said, feeling very bad. So, I was just in bed reading and I read this whole thing. Yes, that whole story was to lead to the fact that I read this whole thing almost in one sitting. So yeah, this book is The Crucifix Killer, is the first book in the Robert Hunter series, which is mystery thriller, and we are following, surprise, surprise, Robert Hunter. He is a detective in the homicide. It's not just homicide division. I think he calls it something more than that, but homicides. And this story starts with a young woman being found killed, and she was like on a cross, displayed on a cross, and she had, you know, suffered a very violent death. She had been skinned alive, which sounds absolutely horrendous, and she had like a mark, a brand of a serial killer called the Crucifix Killer. But that guy had supposedly been caught and executed 2 years ago by Robert and his old partner. But Robert never really believed that was actually the guy, that the one that they caught was the actual killer. And obviously it wasn't. And now Robert has a new partner who's called Carlos, and my bookmark is coming out of the book, so whatever. And yeah, they obviously start investigating, and there are a few more deaths, and the killer also starts like communicating with Robert. And yeah, I was actually very invested in the story, and also the deaths and like the descriptions of the wounds on the bodies and everything are very, very gruesome and descriptive, which I do really love. And like I knew going into it that it was gonna be very gruesome and descriptive, because that is literally like what my friend told me before he lent me these books. So I was expecting that, and I was not disappointed. And yeah, I was very invested in the story. I also felt like it was very thrillery, especially like the last third. I was very, very stressed, and I also really like the characters. And I mean, the reveal, I partially saw it coming. Like I was pretty sure I knew who the killer was, and I did, but I did not know like their motives. So I figured out a part of it, but there was still enough like reveal at the end. So like reveal that I did not see coming at the end. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I had a great time, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna give it 4 or 4.5 stars. I need to think a little more about it. Either way, good rating. Really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm definitely planning on continuing with the series very soon. And yeah, that is everything that I have read, which I mean it was quite a bit. And I still plan on starting the Exorcist's House tonight. And this is like the next book I have to read for a video. I don't know if I have already said that or not, but it is. And I think like the physical copy of the book is like 280 something pages, but my ebook is actually 226. So I'm assuming it's gonna be like a pretty fast read. I would love to finish it like tomorrow night. I think I can do it, but we'll see. But yeah, definitely still plan on starting it tonight. It's like 11 p.m. right now, so I'm definitely still gonna be awake for a few more hours. I'm not gonna be reading that whole time because I already read a lot today, and I am tired and obviously not feeling 100% because I'm feeling better, but I'm not feeling good. But yeah, definitely plan on starting it just like a little bit to get into the story, to know what this is about, because I had no idea. And yeah, tomorrow I am gonna go back to my place and probably continue reading The Exorcist's House. And yeah, I think that is everything that I had to update. Honestly, I have been talking for 10 minutes. No idea what I've said for this long, but anyway, I'm gonna shut up and let my parents sleep, and I will talk to you on Monday. Hello, it is Monday. I'm here to wrap up this vlog, and I am feeling a lot better, but I don't think I'm sounding a lot better. I feel like I still sound very congested, because I mean, I am very congested. Like, I feel better in general, but I cannot breathe through my nose, so that kind of sucks. But other than that, I do feel like perfectly fine. And yeah, I told my colleague about this. We're blaming him
like, was it technically my fault because I could have used the mask, because it does help a lot? Yes, but we're still blaming him. So it was all his fault. Like, if the blame is mine, I can put it on whoever I want, and I want to put the blame on him. In terms of reading, I did read The Exorcist House. I finished it last night, and I don't know if I said it was a horror book, but I think it's pretty obvious from the title and the cover that it is a horror book, and we're following a family. And so they were Daniel, his wife Nora, who was pregnant, and their teenage daughter Alice. And they moved to a farmhouse, and we know, like, from the beginning that the farmhouse used to belong to an exorcist, and we actually meet that exorcist in the first chapter, and we see his death. And they also, like, kind of quickly learn that the house used to belong to an exorcist. And then Daniel and Nora, they find a hidden, like, room inside of the basement. And after they find that room, some weird things start happening, and obviously they start being haunted. And the haunting scenes are definitely very creepy and very gruesome, very disgusting. I love them a lot. And we obviously learn, like, about why the haunting was happening, like what was the purpose and what even was haunting that place. And yeah, some wild things happen, and I was very, very invested. I was very into it. I was loving it. Like I said, I love the haunting scenes, but maybe in the last third, possibly, I was not, like, as into it as I was before. I was definitely still really enjoying it, but I wasn't loving it as much. My rating was all gonna depend on the way that it ended, and I love the way that it ended. It was like the perfect ending for this book for me. So, I mean, I said that my rating was gonna depend on it. Have I actually decided on my rating? Not fully, but it definitely helped me, like, lean towards a higher rating. And if I had, like, the ending is obviously would be a lower rating. I mean, that's obvious. Anyway, I read that, and that's it. That is everything that I read. And yeah, so this week I finished Seven Faceless Saints. Honestly, I almost read the whole thing. I think I was like 30 something pages in, around that. So pretty much read that whole thing. Then I read The Crucifix Killer, and I read The Exorcist's House. Honestly, exorcist is a very hard word to say when you're congested, I'm realizing, because the amount of times I have failed to say that is honestly embarrassing. Or maybe it's just me, not just that I'm congested. Maybe I just don't know how to speak. That is also possible. But yeah, anyway, that was 1,040 pages, which I am very, very, very happy with. I haven't read that much in a hot minute, so I'm very happy with the amount I read, and I'm also very happy with the books that I read because I enjoyed all of them. And so yeah, that is everything for this weekly reading vlog. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!